Warning.
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 Warning. You are entering into the unplugged mind of Paul Clough. Too late. Personal Development Unplugged.
So, welcome. Vulnerability starts here. If you listen to FMQ 525, you'll have got into a little bit where we said, or I said, it seems to me like everyone and his bloody dog seems to go on about being so bloody vulnerable. You know, just spill it all out there. As if it's that easy. Just spill it out. Just all out to anybody, whoever's there, whoever's close enough to listen. Now, for most of us, it's not that easy. Because it's private, isn't it? Don't like to share these things. And really, sometimes, and most of the time, it's not usually appropriate because maybe the circumstance or the context is not appropriate, or the person you're sharing with is not an appropriate person to share it with. And most of all, you need to be vulnerable. You can't be vulnerable to every Dick, Tom, or Harry, or Tom, Dick and Harry, as we say in the UK. And I want to take the pressure off. Because I know you're not one of these people who just, spill it all out. Because that's inappropriate. Sometimes, have you had it when someone tells you too much too soon? It's overwhelming and it's embarrassing, isn't it? You hide, you want to get away, and you don't want to be that person, and you're not that person. So I want to take the pressure off. And I want to take the pressure off by sharing with you some very simple first steps. Simple first steps, and we know what simplicity is. Simplicity is genius. In simplicity, there's genius. And these steps, well, I think they just work. Because they work in a very special way. They start at the core. And I believe it'll allow you to be in control. Be in control and truly understand your specific vulnerability. Because everyone's bloody different, isn't it? But these 2 steps, processes, call them what you will, they allow for that. They're general, but they're specific because they allow you to add to the process your specific needs, your specific issue. Because I've designed it so they're just for you. And I think that's something that, well, it's just going to work. Now, way back in that FMQ, I sort of hinted, or I might have been very direct. Being vulnerable, I think, is about being honest. Honest with ourselves first. Fuck the rest. It's about being honest with ourselves first. No excuses. No reasons why you can't understand or don't want to understand, because we're going to find out. We've got that confirmation bias. We're going to put that to one side. No excuses, because when you become vulnerable to yourself, I believe things just get different. They become different. They become easy to understand. And it's the understanding of our issues from a distance, not in it. Can't read the label when you're in the jar. But we're just going to be honest. And in that way, we don't need to ask for help at this moment. Because when we suffer issues and don't ask for help, it's like pushing it down, doesn't it? Because being vulnerable to others, and it is helpful, by the way, it is helpful when we've done these two processes, by the way, these two steps. Being vulnerable to others and being honest is really fucking hard. But when you get this understanding and you find the right person, man, it'll change. And you don't always have to find the right person to be vulnerable to. Because when you go through these steps, being vulnerable can just be like being yourself. And what would that be like? Being yourself in amongst others and with yourself. That would be awesome, wouldn't it? I know that feeling. I've struggled with that feeling. And it's a dream. At that time, it was a dream to be so open, but in control of that openness. But what tends to happen, I think, is, and if you're like me, you're going through an issue and you're thinking, oh, if only they knew how bad I feel. If only you over there knew how bad I feel, how isolated I feel, how alone this feeling makes me inside now. Frightened, scared. Sometimes you're scared to face it because it's uncomfortable. But follow me, come with me, because it doesn't have to be uncomfortable. Because we don't have to know, we no longer then have to push it down. We don't. We're not going to push it down. You see, and you may be thinking to yourself, well, I'm listening to this old boy, this Cluffy, and I don't seem to have those issues. I'm fine. I don't think you're being honest. Not right now, maybe, you're fine right now, but you've had issues in the past. Well, I bet you haven't shared it. Maybe you had that little voice, if only they knew. I'm a little bit frightened. I'm a little bit isolated. I'm a little bit alone. I feel frightened and scared. Push it down a little bit. Don't want to deal with it. You've had them in the past, maybe. If you haven't, that's awesome. You've dealt with it. But you may know somebody who's going through this. You might see the signs of them holding it down. Because we say what we do is we just push it down. You know, I think I said that saying, push it down, buttercup. Let's just get on with it. But no, we're going to get on with it, but go through these steps. You see, the first thing I think we do when I say be honest with ourselves. We need to acknowledge for ourselves or to ourselves how we really feel. How we really feel, and just sit with it. That may be the one and only step you have to do. If it's small, if it's a small issue and you, I don't like this, but I don't want to talk about it, just sit with that feeling. Sit in the middle of that emotion. And sometimes just sitting with it, you'll begin to understand it. You're not accepting it, by the way. I always say this, never accept it. Just acknowledge it. Because it's happening. It's happening right now. So when you get that emotion, that feeling, sit in it. How do you do that? Well, find where it is in your body. Just close your eyes and just notice where it is in your body. And just put your attention on it. Just sit with it. Maybe you can just understand what you can learn from it. I wonder what this feeling is doing for me. What is it trying to do for me? And sometimes we get that aha moment or the understanding. Or just sometimes, just literally becoming aware, sitting in that emotion will allow it to disappear because it's been acknowledged. Because most of the time, as we say, we're pushing it down, pushing it away, doing everything we bloody can. And the more you push things away, the more you push it down, the more it will get stronger and push it back and push it up. And so just by acknowledging it, you go, okay, you're here. I think you fear. I think you're frightened. Or whatever emotion it is. And just sit with it. And then just let it go. It's like stepping away from those biases, stepping away from hiding. Just sitting there. And you see, there's an example in some of the therapy that I and my sons do, and a lot of people do, by the way. It's called timeline therapy. See, if we can see, well, not necessarily see, but become aware, because we don't always see these things. So don't worry if you can't, well, I can't see this feeling. I can't feel it. Just notice it. It's an awareness. And if we can become aware of these emotions from different angles, we can learn. And that's the whole basis of timeline therapy. Being able to let your unconscious mind learn what it needs to learn from the very root cause of this issue. When it learns what it needs to learn, the emotion and the limiting belief attached to that emotion, that event, that very first event, the root cause of all of this, well, it just disappears because you have what you needed to learn. And when you have those learnings, the emotion is no longer appropriate. It's not needed. The emotion's there, only there because you haven't learned from it. But that requires you going to see someone who is a practitioner of timeline therapy. And if you can find one, and there are loads and loads about, you will get the respite you need. You'll be free. Free to go and find some more issues. So I'd suggest that. But, and there's a but and an and. If you go there, great. But what we're going to do, these 2 steps, are going to help anyway. And even if you haven't got an issue, you can imagine an issue from the past and work in these 2 steps to understand the processes too. And maybe you'll learn a little bit more about what happened in the past. And maybe you just let those little echoes go too. So here's what I want you to do. And it's about being honest. Honest, first of all, step 1, honest with ourselves. Now this is ever so easy. Because what I want you to do, it's got to mean closing your eyes. You don't have to close your eyes, but if you close your eyes, it just makes it that little bit more easier because there's less distractions around. And you can focus. Focus on the process because that's what I want you to do. Give yourself permission to spend a few minutes playing with this process because we're going to have fun doing it. Serious fun. And then just let it go. So if it's okay with you, remember I'm a therapist but not your therapist, but we're just going to learn. Here's what I want you to do. Let's imagine in front of you there's another you. Well, in fact, it's you, but it's this issue. This thing that you've been pushing down, you don't want to, you've been getting away from it, but now it's here. Just ask, just notice, become aware that you can have that issue in itself be in front of you. May have a shape, may have a colour, might even look like yourself. Who knows? It'll be what it'll be, and it is what it is. It might be that you just have an awareness of the essence and the energy of that issue in front of you. So it's anything from awareness to being aware of something else there. And just sit with that for the moment. This is like just becoming aware of your issue, acknowledging it. So you just acknowledge it. Maybe you want to thank it. You go, what? Thank it? Yeah, because it's trying to do something for you. Hasn't gone away. It's been persistent. It's been consistent. Because it wants to help you. Now, what we're going to do is ask this issue a question in a moment. Why do we ask it a question? Because we want to either find the answer, because when we get the learnings, things disappear. Or we're going to loosen the model of the world, loosen that issue just a little bit by giving it the acknowledgement that it needs. Then it can start helping you in a different way, especially when you ask this question, or two questions. There's two questions I want you to ask of this issue. Maybe think of it as a part of you that's running this issue. That's another way to look at it. Or be aware of it. So there's a part of you that's running this issue. That's how we talk sometimes, isn't it? It's like this part of me that just keeps doing this. Well, have that part come out in front of you. If that's an easy way to become aware. So you say, ask that part to come out in front of you. And ask, what can I learn from you? What do you want me to know? The learnings of which and the knowings of which will allow these negative emotions, maybe the limiting belief and inappropriate behaviours to just disappear, because I'll have what I need to learn, what I need to know. And sit with that for a moment. Just sit with it. Notice the response you get. And it might be just like an understanding. Just an understanding. Yeah, just do that. What do you want me to learn? What do I need to know? The knowing of which, the learning of which, will allow you to disappear. Because I'll have what I need to learn and know. There, that's, you're asking lovely questions. Acknowledging that there is something to learn. You've thanked that part for looking after you, for keeping you safe. But it's time to stand down. And notice what you get. Maybe you do get a voice, like a conversation. Maybe it's just an understanding, an awareness, an intuition. And if you don't get one now, I think you'll get an understanding when maybe you're just doing something completely different. Maybe just going for a walk, maybe being quiet. You'll suddenly get, oh, now I understand. And you can just thank it and let it go. Now there is another question you can ask. Because sometimes that part of you, the part of you that's running this little issue, has been pushed down so long. It's been ignored, isn't it? You've been pushing it away. Sometimes if we ask this other question, simple little question, but this time it's like roles reversed. You're saying, well, what can I do for you? What would you like me to do for you? What is it you need from me that will allow you to support me in a better way, allow me to be safe in a comfortable way? What is it you need from me? What can I do from you? And once you say that, let my words, if need be, become your voice to that part of you. What can I do for you? And just listen. Listen with all your senses. Maybe you'll see something in your mind's eye. Maybe you'll hear what it needs. Maybe you'll feel intuitively, just understand what this part needs from you. When I do this, a lot of the times I just get, please acknowledge me. Just this thank you, but just acknowledge me for being here. I've felt ignored for such a long time because this part of you could be so young. Just acknowledge me. And that's it. Recognize me. And sometimes when I do this, and most of the time I do this and I get that, it's as if everything just disappears. And I feel so different. I feel resourceful, feel open. And then I can feel gratitude. Gratitude for that part of me and gratitude for the whole of me. Yeah. So that's one simple step. Just sit there for a moment. That's right. And you can obviously repeat this if you want to go and maybe, well, I've listened to this because I wanted to understand the process, Paul, but I'm going to come back. I'll just bookmark that point in time of this episode and then come back to that. And here's a second step, though. Now, what I've said to you right at the very beginning is being vulnerable to others, being honest with others, how you feel, because you'd like to share it with somebody. You'd like someone, maybe just a little bit of advice, a little bit of help. That's, as I said to you, and I did swear, I said, it's fucking hard. You know, you might be embarrassed, you know, because you think people think of you in one way, you know, and I'm embarrassed to admit that I'm feeling this particular way. Well, this second step is so wonderful, so easy and wonderful. Is there somebody who you would like to share this with? And the beauty of this wonderful genius step is it doesn't have to be somebody you know. What? Well, there may be someone who you really respect in your company, you know, the people that you know, friends that you just know would help. And that's cool. We could pick one of those or pick the one. But say there's somebody who you really respect that you haven't met. You've maybe read an autobiography, read about them, maybe seen them on YouTube, maybe you've seen them on videos or whatever. But there's somebody who you really respect. Maybe they've gone through the type of issue that you're pushing down that you haven't told anybody about. And you can pick them, because this is what we're going to do. And it's a lovely process. It's called perceptual positions if you want to know what the NLP process is that I'm using. But here's what we're going to do. You see, you're looking through your own eyes, and in front of you, invite that person. Oh, let's just rewind. We're going to close our eyes again. You may want to move around a little bit on this one, or you can just do it in your mind's eye. If you're going to move around, what happens is you're going to imagine seeing that person in front of you, just over there, maybe a couple of yards away, a couple of meters away. And you're going to talk to them. And then you're going to walk into that position, turn around and look back where you were, as if you're looking back at yourself, and imagine yourself being there. And imagine as you step into that person's position, you become them for a moment. And give and talk. I'll take you through the whole process, but I'm going to go backwards and forwards. So here's what we're going to do. So if you want to close your eyes, that's fine. Or just imagine that person in front of you. Maybe it's a friend, or maybe it's someone you've never met. dead or alive. They're alive in front of you. That person you respect. And you know about this issue, don't you? You know what you're frightened about, or you're scared. Or maybe you're just feeling alone and you don't know what to do. Whatever your issue is, with your internal voice, you can say it out loud, but it might be a bit creepy to the people around you. But with your internal voice, just speak to that person. Over there, imagine them over there and speak to them. Tell them what your issue is, how you feel, what you want to know, what type of help you would like. Maybe it's just talking. Maybe you want some instruction or help. But just be honest. And this is that honest thing. No one's bloody looking, because it's in your mind. It's in your mind's eye, your imagination, your imagineering. But it just works. So be honest and say what you'd like to say. No one's listening. Only them. And then imagine floating out into them, looking back at you, or walk into that position at 2 meters away, 2 yards away, into that place where you saw them. Imagine them. Turn around and look back to where you were. Imagine seeing yourself, and intuitively allow the words from them to come back to you. What will they say? What are they saying? What are they sharing with you? Be them and share it with yourself over there. Let the words just flow. Internally, just allow the words to flow. Because you've listened to the question from you over there, and now you're responding. And as you respond, just notice how you over there changes maybe a little bit as they listen to the answer. And then, in your mind's eye or physically, walk back to the position where you were. Turn to face them. Imagine them still there. And again now, just allow what they said to come back again. It's like repeating it. So you get it twice. So you get the meaning, the essence, the energy of their response. And as you intuitively understand that response, what would you like to ask again? What is your response to their response? And with that internal voice, say what you want to say. Maybe you want it a little bit more explicit, maybe more specific, more help. Maybe it's giving you a little bit of, oh, that's food for thought. And say the words, internal voice, ask again, just to make sure. And then imagine floating out into that person again, or physically walk over to that spot, into that spot, look back at you, and allow the responses to come back. Allow their words to come to you. And then, when that response is done, imagine floating back into you again, or walking back into that position so you're you, we're always us. Listen to that response again. Now you have something now you can work upon, and you can come back here to this point in this episode to continue this dialogue. But before we do that, there's something else we're going to do. So you are back in yourself. You are seeing, you're aware of that person in front of you. And now I want you to imagine floating way up out of your body and above the two of you. Doesn't matter how high you float. You can float really high to get real distance, to really dissociate now from you and look down upon that conversation that you've just had. Maybe it'll just replay itself backwards and forwards. But from here, in this wonderful meta view, this like directorship view, where you have no emotion connected to that issue anymore because you're dissociated. And you get another understanding of what's happening. You get another learning, something that you can give back to yourself. And imagine as you just intuitively get that, from here you can beam that answer, beam that information, beam that support that you've gleaned from up here, from down there. Beam it back to you. In fact, you can beam it down to both. So they both learn. And as you do that, just notice what you're learning. And then, here's a trick. Float down into that other person and then back into you. So we complete the full loop. We complete everything. We are now back in ourselves. And in fact, if you want to just, with your hand, just touch your heart. Just maybe give it a little rub. Just your heart. So you know you're back in your body. This is me. Yeah. Now what I want you to do now is reflect. Just reflect for a moment. Maybe, and ideally, write down what you've learned. Because when you write it down, you get to see it, you let it, as if it were all that knowledge, channel into the pen, the pencil, onto that paper. And you've got it forever then. Never disappear then, does it? It's a lovely reminder. Maybe you put it in your journal. And just reflect on the learnings. And maybe with those learnings, you'll be able to create that first step. A small step. Doesn't have to be a big step. What is a smaller step now that you can begin to plan and schedule and do from the learnings that you've got? You know, what's the one step, the one smaller step that I could do now from these learnings? What a wonderful question. And then maybe you want to talk to people about this, because you can. You can certainly share the episode. Oh, got in there, Cluffy. Share it, pay it forward. Because this is what it's all about, isn't it? That's the only charge for these episodes, is I'd like you to pay it forward. Ideally, pay it forward to more than one person, so we affect and infect more people with giving them the tools to change, the tools to let go of issues. And the thing is, you, as I said before, you may not have an issue at the moment. But if anything ever does happen, because they do occasionally, things come and just rock your world a little bit. You could now remember, what was that thing? Was it hashtag 474? I don't remember what the number is going to be. But, you know, vulnerability starts here. Oh, I remember it. I'm going to do that process. You never know. I might put this onto the other website where I have 66, I think now, hypnosis and NLP processes, all for you, all complimentary. No credit cards and all that rubbish. No, you just sign in, sign up, boom, get your link, and you're away. And you can download them. You can do whatever you like. I'll put the 60, or is it, I think it's the 90 seconds of hypnosis at the end of this track, end of this episode, so you can get to this. But just think, how easy was that? Did we go into the emotions to relive everything that was going on. No, we didn't. We just acknowledged it. Yeah, I sat in it. Didn't do anything with it, though. Just acknowledged it. And they just tend to disappear. And these will always, if you want to go into one-to-one therapy, this will help anyway. Because it gives you an insight in how you can share it with your therapist. You'll have some you'll have some knowledge anyway, some understanding. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you love the way I'm now changing the dynamics of Personal Development Unplugged in the way that I'm trying to get more and more processes in here, not just waffle, not just talk. There's so many people talk, and don't give you the real nuts and bolts, the real keys, the real processes, the real steps. And that's what I'm doing here. I want to take everything that I know and share it with as many people as I can. And if you can, say, pay it forward. And maybe they would then subscribe like you've subscribed, haven't you? If you could. If you haven't subscribed, just press the subscribe button wherever you listen to this bloody thing. So you're going to get them every week. You get the FMQs, which is like the seed of the next longer episode. That's the way I'm doing it now, so we get an understanding where we're going, and then we can prepare for it in our mind just a little bit. Oh, this is going to be interesting. I'm going to listen to this. What can I learn? Set your intention. Then you listen to the episode. We do the processes, and boom, you're going to change. And I'm going to talk about, I just made a note this morning about an episode I want to do, talking about, why we do this change and the ripples of change. What happens to them when we change one thing in our life? What happens? I'm not going to tell you what happens because that's for the other episode. But I've got wonderful things I want to talk to you about. I've got in my mind's eye and in my little notebooks and in my whatever, all my notes. We're going to do some great stuff. So I just hope you'll come along with me. Hope you enjoyed it. If there's anything you want me to talk about, if there's any process that you'd like me to explain, if you know a process but you don't understand it, I'll do my best. But if there's an issue that you're having and you go, I still need a bit of help with this, Scruffy, send me an email. What is it? It's called feedback. feedback@personaldevelopmentunplugged.com. Do that, and the only bugger here who gets it won't go anywhere else, and you'll get a personal reply from me and probably a longer episode all to yourself that everyone else will get the benefit from. And obviously, there's no names. Everything is anonymous, apart from me, because I'm Paul Clough. So enjoy, have more fun than you can stand, and go play and have fun. So, the 90 seconds of hypnosis tracks. Why have I put hypnosis tracks on a separate website? Well, it's so simple really. I wanted you to have them all in one place so you can look through them all. You can find the particular one you want. I've even made them downloadable so you can put them on any of your playing devices that you prefer. You don't need Wi-Fi, you don't need the iTunes or whatever. You can put them anywhere you like. You can even burn them onto disk if you want. Where do you get them? Well, there you go. I told you it's paulcloughonline.com/podcast. If you're worried about your email address, please don't be, because they stay totally safe with me. I only use them to send you out that email and give you access. Simple as that. I send you a link, a special link, so you and only you can access those hypnosis tracks, because I want them just for you. And the other thing about this is you've taken responsibility. I don't want to make these open to everyone, just random. You have taken responsibility to listen and be part of this community of personal development. And I want to help you. I want to help you personally to get your dreams, your goals. And therefore, I'm giving you these tools, these protocols, these paradigms, whatever you want to call them, but in deep hypnosis. So just enjoy. Have more fun than you can stand with hypnosis.